Hey, Preston here, Will over there.
Hey there.
And we're fellow film students, we're fellow gamers, and we are going to try our hand at reviewing video games in video form in the coming, however long this little endeavor of ours will go. And in this review, we're starting off with a doozy. We're starting off with a racing video game that is beloved by many, myself included, and also one that this guy just started playing, that recently turned 18 here in North America, is old enough to buy cigarettes. I mean, I'm straight edge, so I don't really care about cigarettes. So, but anyway, that aside, the game is Gran Turismo 4 for the PlayStation 2. If you're a fan of the PlayStation 2, and if you're a diehard fan of racing games like I am, there's like very little doubt you'll be aware of just how legendary this title is in the genre and possibly the PlayStation 2 family as a whole, because of like how many copies it sold and just how great this game is. And we're gonna get into it in just a few seconds. So yeah, enjoy our little review of one of the greatest racers ever to grace the planet Earth, Gran Turismo 4 for the PlayStation 2. Many things in this world get better with age, and this fourth installment in the heavily lauded Gran Turismo franchise proved to be no exception when it hit the American shelves in February of 2005. Its predecessor was deemed to be very light on content in comparison to the second entry on the original PlayStation, and this game added a butt ton of meat to the bone. Career mode hasn't changed much. You compete in a laundry list of racing championships, rack up the money to buy and upgrade cars, and take part in license tests that may or may not aggravate you. It's a formula that's been used since the very first game in the series, and it's been used for this long because it works. After all, if it ain't broke, well, you know the rest. Although the car roster lacks certain manufacturers featured in its rivals in the market, like Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Porsche, you still have a huge selection of cars to choose from, over 700 to be exact. Whether you prefer American muscle cars, Japanese tuners, or European racers, there's something in here for pretty much any kind of car enthusiast. And of course, they're all a treat to drive thanks to the incredibly well executed mix of precision simulation and pickup and playability. Will and I were unfortunately unable to test a wheel and pedal setup while recording footage for this review, but I have used one in the past for this game, and the force feedback is absolutely solid.
In terms of its graphics, while Gran Turismo 4 isn't as technically impressive as most other games on the PS2 for its time, it's still impressive for what it's out to do as a racing game, especially since it's one of the few PS2 games that can be played in 1080i. The rendering and texturing on the cars themselves still hold up shockingly well, considering how by the time of this video the game is 18 years old. The only areas of the game where it does fall short in terms of its graphics are ultimately most of the landscapes and backgrounds that encompass the racetracks, which don't hold up as well. The same could be said for the modeling of the supplemental human NPCs sitting in the bleachers, or even the ones standing by your car at the end of the license tests. Thankfully though, these graphical hiccups are largely forgivable, not only because of the PS2's limited hardware, but also because, as previously stated, these elements are largely supplemental to GT4's gameplay as a racing game. The sound design, while nothing spectacular, is also good for what it's out to do, as it helps add to the immersion of driving on a racetrack, especially when driving on terrain like dirt and snow.
Continuing on the topic of sound, the musical selection in this game is very tight, though we unfortunately cannot play it in this review because lol, copyright laws. Along with really good original songs, this game also contains licensed music from artists like Van Halen, Jimmy Eat World, and Less Than Jake, to name a few. When racing against the so-so AI and setting records in time trial mode start getting stale, there are multiplayer options ready and waiting. While there's unfortunately no worldwide online multiplayer to be found, it's not the end of the world, as you have the ability to race against 5 friends in LAN mode or do 2-player split-screen racing. And of course, you have a respectable number of tracks to do all this racing on. You've got everything from popular original road courses like Deep Forest and Grand Valley, to legendary real-life tracks like Nürburgring, Circuit de la Sarthe, Suzuka, and Laguna Seca, to name a few. Combine this with the large number of races to take part in during your career mode playthrough, and you've got a very meaty racer that will keep you about as busy as a JRPG will. And there you have it, folks. That was a short and sweet review of the iconic game that is Gran Turismo 4 for the PlayStation 2. Yeah, it was very short and sweet, but I think that can be said for a lot of like IGN and GameSpot reviews on YouTube. I had a great time revisiting this for this review, and Will, I'm happy that you made some time to review this with me and also play this for the first time for the sake of this review. And I definitely think you're getting the hang of it, and we've definitely got some funny footage of us racing split screen. It'd be cool if we could use a wheel for this review, but you know, you can't have everything. Maybe that'll come like in a future a future video from us, whether it's us doing another review or just, you know, being goofballs, which we are a lot.
Right.
I think I've got you beat in like the hyperactivity and goofball department, but you know,
a tad bit, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the one with the Pepsi addiction here, so, and yeah, I'll let you figure that one out. But yeah, that aside, that was a weird tangent we went on. Thank you very much for watching this little review of Gran Turismo 4. If you haven't played it, it is never too late to pick up a copy and give this game a whirl. You can find it for very good prices on Amazon, eBay, and whatever like retro game store is local to you. I got this one for about like $12. It's a pretty good deal, I would say. It also came with the it was a very good disc, and it even came with the instruction manual. So all that for $12.
Right.
Pretty good.
Although do know it is limited to the PS2, so if you ever do plan on playing it, be sure to have one of those consoles on.
Yeah.
On your persons.
Unless of course you're like the kind of guy who plays like a lot of emulated stuff on your computer. I'm personally not much of an emulator guy, but hey, nothing against those who prefer emulators over the real hardware. You know, everyone has their own taste. Then again, it's probably I'm probably saying that because like I'm just not really good. So I'm setting up emulators, except for a GBA one I did back in the day.
I'm not big on emulators either,
Yeah.
so it's like.
Anyway, get it back on topic. We keep going off on tangents, but that's what happens when you like start doing something for the first time, including game reviews in video form. But yeah, so in the meantime, thank you very much once again for watching the very first video game review that Will and I have done in video game form. Well, I don't think you've done video game reviews of any kind, even in text form, but I think you've taken to this like a duck to water.
Thank you.
No problem. And I think I did pretty well for myself in terms of my first time doing a review in video form. But you know what? I don't want to stroke my own ego, so whether I did good or not, I'll leave it up to you to decide. But again, I don't want you stroking my ego. But yes, thank you very much for watching this review. Hopefully we'll have a lot more video game reviews to do in the future, provided life doesn't get in the way of it. And it won't be just racing games, don't worry. We got plenty of stuff from plenty of different genres and franchises. So hopefully we got at least a respectable amount more to come. So thank you very much for watching this review of Gran Turismo 4, and we'll see you with whatever comes next.